Light so bright, we are awakened. Come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now.
Thank you for listening to the Awakened Radio Network at awakenedradio.net, where we invite you to join us for the Prosperity Game. You can win prizes. You can also discover the easy, quick, surefire ways to allow prosperity into your life experience. The Prosperity Games are ongoing on the Awakened Radio Network. Check out our front page, awakenedradio.net, for details on the Prosperity Game. You can win prizes by calling in, by being in our chat room. You can even win by leaving comments in our forum. We've got all manner of ways for you to join us to play the Prosperity Game, where we all win and live beautiful, wonderful, on-purpose lives. Join us for the Prosperity Games at awakenedradio.net.
Welcome. You are now tuned in to Your Unfolding Senses on Awakened Radio. I'm your host, Rob Ragazine. This show is all about opening to and listening to your full intuitive capabilities. I offer tips and techniques such as meditation, dream work, and more for relaxing and connecting to your intuition. I'm on the air Thursday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. This show is brought to you by intuitionbyrob.net, helping you to connect to your own inner wisdom. Please enjoy the show and invite your friends. Hello everyone, thanks for joining in tonight. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, September 26, 2013. Your Unfolding Senses is all about opening to your own inner wisdom, and we're all intuitive. Tonight, you can feel free to call in and ask your questions or comment on the tools that work for you in intuition and dreams, numerology. And tonight, we're talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about inner peace tonight. So making sure that you're feeling calm and feeling really cool and collected and really being able to tap into yourself without being affected and being dragged into fear or any other state because of family, because of personal issues, because of whatever is happening in your world. You can join us in the chat room at awakenedradio.net and click on the live chat tab, or join us on the air by adding Awakened Radio to Skype or dialing 334-649-7204. Thanks for tuning in, and if you haven't heard the great shows that are on before me, make some time next week to listen to those and throughout the week as well. As you're listening, you can use this as an opportunity to really expand and to suspend any doubt or disbelief about listening to your intuition, at least for this next hour. We'll make time to connect inward, listen to our heart, and to begin to pay attention to it and its needs. Gradually, the space can unfold into your outer life. And with that, I invite you to take part in a meditation. And as we're talking about inner peace tonight, I'd like you to either have a question about how you might foster that in your own life, or to use one that you've been thinking about. So bringing that question to mind and finding a quiet space, sitting or lying down, making sure that you're comfortable, closing your eyes, and beginning to breathe slowly and gently, releasing any stress, any doubt, any anxiety from the day, continuing to gently breathe into yourself, into your heart, continuing to let go of any stress any worries that come up as you breathe, and let your mind quiet and your body rest. Feel yourself filling with peace and tranquility. Bring your focus to your heart. Ponder on what it has been asking for. You may also wish to bring your hands to your heart, feel its power, feel it vibrating, feel it pulsating, and allow your awareness of your heart to deepen as you breathe. Settle into this stillness and feel all of your senses open, grow, and deepen. And know that this is a special place where you can clearly hear your own inner voice, however it speaks to you. Be mindful of how this space feels, and you can ask a question and notice any messages available to you within this space. And your inner ear might hear a word or a phrase. Your inner eyes might see a color, shape, or picture. Your other senses might pick up a fragrance, or you might have a tingling or a knowing. Pay attention to whatever comes to you. If you don't understand what they mean for you, you can ask for deeper clarity and allow whatever comes to you to come. But if nothing does, that's okay. Don't force anything to happen. Simply rest in the peace and stillness. This could be the very thing your heart has been asking for. Notice how your body feels and continue breathing into the parts of your body that don't feel refreshed. Allow yourself to feel the comfort of this space. Have and feel gratitude for it, knowing that you can come here anytime. As we prepare to leave, remember your answers that you received. Continue feeling the gratitude for the connection and any messages you received, and slowly bring your focus back to the room, gently opening your eyes and coming back to your body. Now tonight, we're talking about inner peace, and we're really looking at that from a personal perspective and how we can bring and develop it within ourselves and let go of the need to point fingers outwards towards others or blaming others for our lack or perceived lack of peace within ourselves. And Viktor Frankl says, in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So noticing how we respond to others and whether some outer situation is triggering ourselves, triggering our bodies to be stressed, pulling us out of peace, pulling us into fear, into worry, into doubt. And I was doing some research this week, noticing, looking for the meditation programs within prisons, and it seems like it's a very popular program within many of the prisons all across the world. And I have a couple quotes, one from the executive director of the John Howard Society of Canada, which advocates for prisoners' rights, and she says, we're interested in promoting offenders' return to the community with better skills than when they left it. This meditation helps them become more self-aware and helps them control their anger, and it's really advantageous. It contributes to the successful reintegration of people. So they realize it for the prisons that meditation helps let go of anger, connect with calm, connect with peace, be more peaceful. another organization in the United States which is helping spread the meditation message. The David Lynch Foundation has an inmate saying, ever since I was a kid, I've just been miserable being myself, but after 1 month of meditating, I felt so much energy. It's amazing how good I feel. And there's tons and tons of other quotes. But if prisoners can have these reactions, these insights, why can't we? We let our lives get busy, frantic, and let our minds be destructive. We let our inner critic or our judge, as we've been talking about tonight, just go wild. So part of this really is recognizing that we are human, but what does that mean? And I would say, really, it's recognizing that we're all connected, and that's part of the issue here. We're all connected. We have a general purpose for being here, and that's to, I believe, help everyone else that's here as well. So we're sharing the same space, we're sharing our lives together, and that really leads to the next thing, which if we're all connected and we're sharing everything, then there isn't any us or them, it's just me. But how can we come to really appreciate this and have gratitude for that and all the different parts of ourselves out in the world, because really everyone else is an aspect of ourselves. And I'm not talking about biology or anything like that. I'm really looking at how disconnected we are for being so connected on an unconscious or spiritual level, even though we have such high levels of social media and television and news. We friend each other and all that, and never really talk to each other. We're cut off from humanity, cut off from really experiencing ourselves as who we can be. And that's really, when anyone asks for a reading, I think that's what they're asking for, is how can I become better connected and step away from the busyness, step away from the anger, the resentment, fear, whatever it is that keeps us disconnected from ourselves, from the rest of the world, and from our inner peace. How do we get back to that anyway? And I think they want solutions, but here's the thing. The preferred solution for many people is that others change first. So we're pointing the finger again, pointing out at the rest of the world. They have to change, and then I'll be happy, and then I'll be peaceful, then I'll feel less stressed. So the neighbor's dog has to stop barking, and then I'll feel peaceful. But it's not out there, it's already inside you. You already have it inside. We have everything we want really inside of us, and it's about allowing it in. So how do we get all the junk and remove it, or let go of it, let go of our need for it? It's really about having the realization that you can think, maybe I can change, maybe I can allow, maybe I can let go of the need to force or have everyone change for me. And for me, it's recognizing the things that don't feel appropriate, that I can let go of them, or if I'm in a conversation that doesn't feel appropriate, I can walk away. It might be that it's just inappropriate for me or for you. For instance, you could be out with a group of friends and perhaps you're in AA and the conversation turns to alcohol, that could be inappropriate for you. You don't have to be part of that conversation for your inner peace. You can walk away or do something different. You're recognizing that you could talk about it, but you don't have to. So the benefits of this conversation aren't very high, probably few, outweighed by really numerous other factors. You're not ignoring anything, rather you're supporting yourself, being kind, being compassionate, and peaceful for yourself, finding that inner peace. Not forcing the conversation to change for your benefit, but letting it go and moving on. Maybe not leaving the party or whatever, wherever this conversation is taking place, just forgiving the fact that it came up, excusing yourself perhaps, and walking away, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be alcohol related. It could be anything that's inappropriate for you in that moment that disturbs the peace within you. And we're not saying that you always have to walk away to foster the peace, but sometimes it's simply inappropriate. And we're asking, how can we be kind to ourselves when we're looking for inner peace? We've heard for years and years and years that from the teachers and the leaders, various leaders and teachers say peace comes from within, but we really haven't paid attention to that message at all. Well, some of us. Some people have, but it's not widely paid attention to. And over the past weekend, we had a great global peace meditation with events everywhere, and you could even meditate at home. And it was a powerful event, and it's wonderful to see that so many people turned out for it, to love ourselves, to have compassion, and to address those issues such as fear or anger that again block us from accepting ourselves as we are. But part of this is again looking outside of yourself for the answer. So to embrace whatever you learned about yourself through the meditation and bring it in, to really honor the peace within yourself. And other events like that, really it's encouraging ourselves as single individuals to connect with what's inside and bring it out to the world. And I was watching a show on my streaming network here, Mad Men. Not endorsing it, but it's a good show for me, at least. They were talking about, I was watching an episode where they were talking about the bomb, and everyone seemed worried about it, but what I did notice is few were doing anything besides numbing out. And it's constant alcohol, constant cigarettes, constant relationships with people who are inappropriate or appropriate, or maybe a mix of the two. And it just seems like they're unable to connect with themselves. And it's a great show to watch, to really learn more about that, to catch a glimpse of the time period, but more about what's happening now, to really see where the disconnect happens between the fear and the inner peace that we'd like to develop for ourselves. So the main characters really don't address the inner issues. And I'm not saying that all we have to do is to go inward to the exclusion of the outer life. Both are important, and doing only one can lead to burnout. But when we're looking at ourselves honestly, we can look at when we're contributing to the conflict, the chaos, the static that's happening around us. And that's where meditation comes in. We can step out of that conflict and foster the peace within ourselves, however that looks. So if we really want to be part of a solution instead of being part of the problem, then we need to find a way to let go of our attachment to the conflict. What does that serve us? And are we willing to look at that question for ourselves? So a good question, a good personal practice is to journal and look at that question for yourselves. How am I connected to the conflict that's around me? And it might not be anything that seems necessarily malicious. For myself, I tend to try to dissolve tense moments in conversations with humor. Not always. Sometimes it just pops up, but I'm more aware of it now. It's not always appropriate, and it's at tense moments, and that's one way. Others, perhaps you do that too, just to notice it. And it's not labeling it as bad or wrong, it's just noticing how you're contributing to the conflict that's around you in your life. So it's also recognizing, again, where I am looking outside of myself for the peace. So connecting with the humor, and if only these people would stop being so tense, then I could have more peace. Well, that's not necessarily true at all. It's about having and connecting with that peace which is already there for me. Now, and another thing that people might do, yourself might be doing, is to give advice to others rather than to listen to advice for themselves, for yourself. So we're kind of blind to our own issues, and now we're starting to correct other people's behaviors because it's disturbing us, it's detracting from our peace. But it's really not being, again, it's pointing a finger, not willing to look at our own faults, and really it's putting blame out onto other people. And a good practice you might try is every day, at least for a week, you could, in an honest and sincere way, have praise for someone else for something they've said or done, and just try that. And then that might help you to step away from the need to blame them, to correct them, to belittle them and put them down, or whatever it is. It can help you to let go of the need to even have the argument in the first place, because now you might begin to see the world a little through their eyes, have compassion for them. And try that as an exercise. A week might not be long enough. You might need a little more time, but start it with a week, see what happens. It's something that I'm just starting myself this week, and really making a commitment to try to do it every day, not just randomly once a month. Try it, see how it works for you. Nothing might happen, but maybe something will crack open and some new part of yourself might sprout from this. It's really, as I was looking at being human and allowing the peace in, I think it's something that can help us to really foster greater peace within ourselves. And as part of this, it's really looking at our accountability in our daily activities. So if there's conflict, to ask, well, how am I involved, and how am I accountable in bringing it into my life? But noticing your heart, connecting to it, and when something feels bad, to ask why is something that I did, and to really pay attention to that. And to really begin to pay more attention to your heart on a daily basis and connect with it, perhaps through meditation, perhaps simply through being silent for a period of time. But I think the meditation, as I'm seeing with all the news articles around the prisons, that it's very, very powerful, and you can benefit from it without really even spending any money on resources to do it. You just sit down and meditate. And in my show, I was watching where one character actually does read a meditation book, but we never see him put anything into use. We do see him have he's quick to say, we don't know what's happening. So it's having that curiosity for yourself in your own life and being willing to recognize your responsibility and be accountable for your actions. Others, especially your important relationships, to become. Sorry, I guess I'm breaking up, but all my lights are green. I'm not sure what's happening.
And let me just go ahead and take a 2-minute early break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Whether I'm on the go or just at home laying low, I listen to AwakenedRadio.net. This is Ingrid Geronimo telling you should tune in too.
You are listening to the Awakened Radio Network, home of the Prosperity Games, where you can win prizes for interacting in our forum, calling into our live shows, or being in our chat room. Take part at awakenedradio.net today. Awakened Radio is brought to you in part by EvolutionarySpiritualityCoaching.com, a new wave of coaching for new consciousness wave riders. Check out EvolutionarySpiritualityCoaching.com. Awakened Radio is also brought to you by Donna Devane, the Barefoot Guru's books. Check them out at Amazon by searching for Donna Devane, or if you'd like an autographed copy, visit awakenedradio.net/Awakened Store, where you will find Donna's brand new life-transforming books. Thank you for listening to the Awakened Radio Network and for taking part. We are a people-powered radio station.
Welcome. You are now tuned in to Your Unfolding Senses on Awakened Radio. I'm your host, Rob Ragazine. This show is all about opening to and listening to your full intuitive capabilities. I offer tips and techniques such as meditation, dream work, and more for relaxing and connecting to your intuition. I'm on the air Thursday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. This show is brought to you by IntuitionByRob.net, helping you to connect to your own inner wisdom. Please enjoy the show and invite your friends. Okay, I guess we're back. So if you have a question about inner peace or anything else, you can call 334-649-7204 or at Awakened Radio to Skype. Or, of course, you can come to awakenradio.net and click on the live chat tab and join us into the chat room. And it's quite lively tonight. So please do join us, especially if you have a question about how hard it is to meditate or whatever it might be. And I see one pop up about discovering your intuition if you haven't discovered it before. And that's what I'm talking about, is settling down into your body to be able to connect with it rather than allowing anger or fear or being numb to it and totally losing any kind of intuition that's coming to you, to find a way to settle into your own body, into your own senses, and connect with them. So not getting blown away by whatever's happening by the media, by people around you. So if you need to unplug, to do it, how often you need to do it, maybe once a week, maybe every day, maybe for 5 minutes once a month, whatever it is, to schedule some unplugged time where you have time to sit down and meditate, settle into some quiet time, into stillness, and really letting go of all the issues that you're letting and allowing into your life. So the first step is to make time and space for meditation, for settling into your own stillness, stepping away from the static. And I was going to talk about a meditation. I think that's appropriate time to actually do it. And this is the first part of a meditation I have available in the store, and it's a breathing awareness meditation. It's about connecting in to your breath and paying attention to what's in your awareness. And it only takes a few minutes. So making sure that you're comfortable. Probably it's best to sit up for this, otherwise you might tend to fall asleep. So sitting in your chair and closing your eyes and breathing in through your nose or your mouth, whichever is appropriate for you, but choosing one and settling in to that rhythm. So breathing in and feeling your breath come into your body, filling your lungs, and breathing out, releasing any anguish, any stress, but not really paying attention to it, just letting go of anything that might be bothering you. Breathing in and breathing out, and maybe taking a few deep breaths. And really finding a breathing pattern that works for you. Now we're going to spend a few minutes just noticing our breath and how it feels. Perhaps you're breathing in through your nostrils. You can feel how warm or cool the air is as you breathe in. Perhaps you can feel it on your tongue as you breathe out, and just to notice that. You can record that later to see how you felt about that, but right now we're just breathing in and releasing, breathing out. Now while we're breathing, you may notice that a memory pops up, or a feeling, or a sensation somewhere in your body. But don't be distracted by it. Continue your breath and allow whatever comes up to be on the outer edge. We're not trying to bring focus to that. We're focusing on our breathing and noticing how it feels as we breathe, and that's it. So when a memory does come up and we get distracted by it, we can tell ourselves, I was distracted, and come back to our breathing. And that's all we really have to do, just to notice our breathing. And have compassion for whatever's on the outer edge, but not to bring it into focus. Just gently focusing on your breath, allowing your body to do what it does naturally without stressing out about it. Continuing to breathe and allowing your body to pick the pattern of your breathing. Noticing any feelings and letting them stay on the outer edge. And when you're ready, bringing your awareness back to the room, making sure you're sitting upright, gently opening your eyes, and bringing your focus back to here and now. And that's it. We're really just paying attention to what's happening inside. And for most people, you'll notice a soup of stuff, at least at first. So maybe memories are coming up, maybe feelings are coming up, and as you move deeper into that meditation, you'll begin to pay attention to those and spend time with them. But we really don't have that focus for this show. It's really about beginning to pay attention to what's happening and finding the time and space to begin to address those issues so we can allow peace to be nurtured, to grow, and to continue to grow within us. And then other people will notice how we're acting, how we're behaving, and will influence them. They'll want whatever we have, and they'll grow it peace within themselves. So it starts with you, as you've heard countless times, that peace comes from within. And I have a quote from the book Beyond Anger. It says, "The more closed-minded or hard-headed someone seems, the more reason there is for us to be open-minded and gentle when interacting with them." So again, not getting caught up in the chaos and the frustration, but allowing peace to be your guiding factor, or at least one of them, and to really help that allow you to be guided in your relationships, in your conversations, and just to notice what's happening and take time out to ask, how am I contributing to the situation around me? So especially, instead of unconsciously contributing to anger, be willing to ask, what is my intended outcome of this choice I'm making? What am I intending to happen? So being aware of your influence in the world and asking about your intentions. What are your intentions? Are you here to be in relationship, especially if you're talking with someone that you are in relationship with? And if you're not, why not? Now, back to Mad Men. the episode with the bomb was really showing how people get knotted up and then not really understanding what to do. And they show it extremely well. There's unhappy couples. There are people who are simply dead inside and without knowing how to begin to wake up and shift themselves, although a few catch a glimpse of it. So it's really I looked at it as an opportunity to look within, and it takes patience and time, but every single drop counts. So what does it take? It takes the patience and the persistence. Really to develop some personal awareness. And the main character is really unhappy with his relationships, and he dips into other relationships that only add to the stress, not solve it, and he remains unhappy. So our way of being human, or our regard for others, really is important here. How, again, it goes back to how are we intending the outcome of this relationship to be? How are we supporting ourselves as humans? And are we really here to make relationships work? Really paying attention to that, not treating, I guess, other people as objects. It's, again, noticing how we want, and we want to be busy, and have to notice our yearnings, and that's what's pinned to that. What's that connected to? Okay, I feel lonely. Now, how can I be in a healthy relationship versus one that I'm just treating the other person as an object? And that definitely can create a lot of chaos in your life if mistreated. So, again, looking at our intentions and being willing to bring that to a relationship, and then these kinds of relationships that we're seeing on Mad Men, or probably lots of shows, really, we can begin to avoid within our own lives. So before making a choice, asking yourself, what's the intended outcome? What do you intend to create? Do I want to create a happy relationship? Or do I want to create an empty relationship that won't foster inner peace for myself? Opening to your heart, perhaps asking, how could I best live? And really noticing where anger or fear is driving you, and to wonder how that has driven you. And obviously that's contributing to less peace, more chaos, and more static. So the outside events that we create, that we allow in, this can be distracting and make you think about them instead of what you're choosing to, how you're choosing to live, how you're choosing to think and allow and create within your life. Where are you putting your attention, really? And hopefully the short meditation really helped you to begin to see that, because as you're breathing, you're starting to think about what's being cooked for supper, the argument you had with your boss, whatever. It's all coming up, and we're not in the moment. We're not peaceful. Perhaps if you've had an argument with someone, it might be helpful to address that situation either in person or perhaps just through a meditation. And on past shows, I talked about a simple rose meditation where you hand a rose to someone in a meditation and ask for their forgiveness. So that can definitely help you energetically, but it might also behoove you to ask for some sort of forgiveness in person rather than trying to skirt around that issue. Thomas Merton says, what can we gain by sailing to the moon if we are not able to cross the abyss that separates us from ourselves? This is the most important of all voyages of discovery, and without it, all of the rest are not only useless, but disastrous. So again, we're helping ourselves to help our families, our communities, and the world overall by first fostering our own inner peace and then letting it spread out to the rest of the people. And there's some chat, and I'm not sure what it's saying. I guess it's talking about meditation, so everyone who listens benefits. I agree. Now, what do you feel drawn toward as you begin accepting more peace and focusing on your humanness, connecting to your heart, excuse me, and stepping away from fear? What do you feel drawn towards? Part of our being human is our expression. What is your heart really calling you to express, and noticing how long you've been dismissing that call to express, really connecting to that and bringing that creativity, that abundance out into your life, whatever that might be. If you've been called to teaching, or you're called to sing, called to dance, it doesn't matter. If you're not doing it and you're being called to do it, that in itself is creating static in your life, because you feel tension, the tension of opposites, where you want to do something but don't feel able. And perhaps the best step is just to do it. Don't feel that you have to know all the answers. And I was just talking with one of the new hosts here, and he was saying he didn't know how to do it. And I said, just do it. And you've probably heard that message 100 times a week here on Awakened Radio, here in your life. But it's true. Just go do it. If it's helpful, it's going to help heal the chaos and bring more peace into your life and take you out of the conflict. And it might be helpful to look at the messages of conflict within your life so that you can understand better what to do. I was talking about madmen, but more personally, I was hearing a mouse scratching in my walls this week. It's getting colder, so I don't know how it got in, but anyway, I was hearing it scritch, 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 and I was hoping that it would either find its way out or just expire there. And I did a meditation and asked it to leave, and told it that I would even bring food somewhere to its friends, somewhere far away from where I live. And it did go away for quite a number of days, but then I had intended to go by one of the I guess they call whatever, the live traps or whatever it is, but I already had left a sticky trap for it while I was coming and going, and after a few days I found it. So there's some anxiety over having trapped it, but I trapped it. It didn't leave, and I had asked it to. So that's a whole other story, but it's one way to connect with your intuition, is to journey to the issues that are troubling you and ask what they need, what they're bringing you. And I guess part of that for Mouse is curiosity, exploration, learning. So to learn about this conflict for myself, because at some level it represents something internal. And again, as I think about it, curiosity and exploring. So my conflict, perhaps not being in that exploration enough, so perhaps in my just not trapping it, I didn't give it full opportunity for its own exploration, so that's a little bit sad, but it's not scratching my walls anymore, I guess. But still, there is some issue there to look at for myself. For me, this also brings up looking back at your life and seeing what other events might be connected to any kind of conflict. Or, even better, to look at where your creativity was in your childhood. And as I've mentioned before, I was an avid reader, and this really helped me to be curious and ask why, to learn more about myself with things like Reiki and meditation, and put out my own book. So really, that fostered my deep sense of curiosity. Any comments in the chat room? I wish I had a cat, but I don't have one. So, just to notice, I guess, the feelings that come up around that. So, wishing for a cat and not having one, well, I haven't found the time and space to go find one, but perhaps I will in the near future. And yes, I actually bought the things that plug in, but the Amazon reviews say they really don't work at all. They just create noise that you can't hear, and the bugs and the critters don't care about it. So anyway, that's an interesting thing to explore. Now, really what I'm talking about here is what Joseph Campbell called following your bliss, but connecting to your curiosity. And although it doesn't really fully capture everything that he was talking about, looking at creating new space that allows for your creativity. So a natural direction that feels expansive for you. So if there's a hobby that you like doing as a child that might help you to feel good about yourself, feel expansive, and you can perhaps share with a child or just share with yourself and see where that leads you, go for that. It could be related to your work, and really, ideally, our work allows us to be creative and at our best. So that's obviously a place to look, but it could also be an avocation that you do in addition to your work that leads to deeper personal exploration. Now, as an exercise around this, you might work with a symbol of your creativity and get a piece of paper or a pen or some sort of paper and ask yourself, what does my life need right now? What would I like to create? And simply feel whatever comes to you. So maybe a symbol will come to you, maybe you'll hear an answer in your head, or you'll sense something body-wise. So your whole body might be connected to the answer. So spend a moment feeling into it, connecting into it. Maybe a memory will come up, and to find a way to get that on paper. Maybe you'll just see a circle, draw a circle. Maybe you'll have a childhood memory, draw that childhood memory. And really connect to that and see how you might use that to be creative and expansive this week, and step more into peace within yourself, stepping away from the anger and the frustration and the doubts, and to look at how you can set an intention to allow for greater creativity in your life. And Susan mentions that the mice will leave when you get the message. I guess I got the message since it's gone. Don't hear any more scritching. And well, that's the end of the show tonight. Thank you for listening. Please do, if you find it in your heart, to go to our awakenradio.net and make a donation to the station if you're so inclined and you've enjoyed our shows. Donations are always greatly appreciated. We're here at no cost to you, so please find it in your heart to donate $1, donate $5, whatever's appropriate, and help the station to continue. Excuse me. We also have Thrive Magazine. The deadline for the new issue in October is October 10th, so just a week or two away, and we accept appropriate spiritually based articles, art and poetry, and anyone can contribute as long as it's spiritually based and helpful, healthy kind of article. You know, if it feels right, you know it's right. And we share your links back to your website with the article, so that's our way of saying thank you. You can also sponsor one of the shows, including this one here at Awakened Radio, and with a sponsorship we play your 30-second ad at the start of each show, in the middle of each show, and at the end of each show. And when we archive the shows to iTunes, your sponsorship stays within the program and it's played whenever anyone downloads. So that would be a great opportunity to share your business with the greater community. We're also having an open house coming up on Sunday from 4 until Donna's show, which I believe is at 8 Central or 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So you can share about yourself and meet other listeners and meet the hosts here at Awakened Radio, and perhaps you can become a host too, or you can just become more familiar with the station itself and learn more about what we do and what we have for everyone as a community. We have Thrive Magazine, we have, I guess we're starting to do streaming video, we have meditations, and tons of other stuff within the Awakened Radio store. So please find time to explore awakenradio.net and come meet us on Sunday at 4 Central, 5 Eastern. And I'm sure it'll be a great opportunity, one that you don't want to miss. Now, I was talking about inner peace tonight, so if you feel any issues around that, you might try to do the meditation that we briefly connected to today, but I also have that included as part of a longer meditation where we actually begin to allow space for whatever's coming up and release it and let it go. So making time to do that and address those issues and allow them to stop bothering you so much, and to spend regular time and meditation can begin to bring more peace, more tranquility into your life, and that's what I wish for everyone. So take part in the Awakened Radio community and find time to allow more space for meditation and things that help you to step out of the static and the anxiety and settle into who you are as a human and join the human race. Thanks for listening to us tonight. I look forward to speaking with you again next Thursday, 10 p.m. Central. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
'Cause we're awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight in life. We're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened.